Ooh, I'm shaking in my bright yellow shirt.
You're going down! Ah!
Go from no to no hassle with Capital One no hassle rewards. There are no blackout dates on any airline, anytime.
I should work at Capital One!
What's in your wallet?
My job is to predict the future. Every year, over 500,000 construction workers are injured in the U.S. So at Liberty Mutual, we're using 90 years of research and experience to help customers predict hazards and correct them, so accidents never happen in the first place. Some people say I'm psychic.
Liberty Mutual. It's more than insurance. It's insurance in action.
I say, hey, that's my job.
Sprint helps FTDs seamlessly move flowers around the world. And the PGA of America wirelessly connect people to their offices. And HP save millions by increasing productivity. Sprint helps 95% of the Fortune 1000 on its own wireless and wireline networks. With Sprint, business is beautiful. Learn more at sprint.com.
We're Ladder 59. We chase our food down with good coffee all the time. Our house is not a fancy place at all. Our house, we have pin-ups on the wall. We're not a frilly coffee crowd. Give us rich, fresh flavor. We'll put gallons of it down. Our house is always good to the last drop. Make your house a Maxwell house.
Murder Ball. One player's view of the physical and emotional battle to go from severely injured to super competitive. Scarborough Country, tonight at 10 on MSNBC.
Coming up, 4 explosions rock London, eerily similar to the attacks 2 weeks ago. London police say it could have been much worse. Some of the bombs didn't go off. No one was killed, but the suspects are on the loose. How did 4 bombs go off without a single death? Security here at home beefed up. Tomorrow, random searches begin at New York City subway stations. And some are now yelling and screaming that their civil liberties will be violated. And the lead prosecutor in charge of the Natalee Holloway investigation takes a vacation. We'll get reaction from Natalee's mother as she posts a $200,000 reward for the safe return of her daughter. The program about justice starts now. First up on the docket tonight, we've got breaking news today in the London bombings. NBC News has learned that the backpacks and explosives used in today's attacks identical to those used in the July 7th attacks, indicating that the same group could be responsible for both. Both had 4 almost simultaneous explosions, 3 in the underground train system, 1 on a bus. The big difference, the first attack killed 56 people. But this time, it seems they failed.
Clearly, the intention must have been to kill. I mean, you don't do this with any other intention. And I think the important point is that the intention of the terrorists has not been fulfilled. The London Ambulance Service tell us that they took no casualties from these scenes. There is a report of 1 casualty at 1 hospital who may have been self-reporting and may or may not be connected to this.
No casualties? How is it possible that 4 bombs go off and no one dies?
From what I understand, some of the devices remain unexploded, if I could describe it that way. We do believe that this may represent a significant breakthrough in the sense that there is obviously forensic material at these scenes which may be very helpful to us.
And if this is the same group, it is crucial to catch them now. Joining me now is former FBI Assistant Director, former FBI National Counterterrorism Chief Steve Pomerantz, former FBI agent Chris Whitcomb, and NBC News terrorism analyst Charles Shoebridge. All right, Charles, so we're getting this information out of London that they believe the same backpacks were used Does that simply tell you that this has got to be the same, at least, mastermind behind it?
I think if we look at the MO, the method of operation of this group today, it's so similar with the MO employed 2 weeks ago, including the apparent use from what witnesses are telling us that the alleged bombers were actually present there on the trains today when these detonators possibly exploded. This suggests very strongly indeed that the same organizational structure, if we can call it that, is involved. And the events of today will, without doubt, greatly increase the abilities of the police to make their way up that chain away from these foot soldiers of today to identifying those concerned at a higher level.
And Chris, I've got to believe that the same bomb maker made these bombs today. I'm not saying as the ones previously, but made all 4 of the ones involved today, because it sounds like most of them just didn't work.
Right, Dan. Look, it's not terribly difficult to make a bomb, but you have to have some training and some expertise. And the FBI has a unit that goes around the world, looks at the remnants of bombs that have gone off, and tries to find characteristics that identify the maker. And I think it's very likely here they've gotten a wealth of information. Thank goodness they didn't go off, but it's going to help investigators enormously.
Steve Pomerantz, explain to us what it means that it didn't go off. I mean, there still were explosions in London.
Yeah, well, the most likely explanation for that, Dan, is what went off with the detonating devices. Most bombs have some sort of a device that, a lesser charge that then sets off the larger explosive. And what we probably had here was the detonators exploding but failing to set off the main charge. And that would kind of explain the kind of reporting that we're getting.
All right, so Charles, we were told early on that the previous bombings were likely the work of some Al-Qaeda related group, Al-Qaeda sympathizers. Whether it was actually Al-Qaeda or not, sort of besides the point. But Al-Qaeda and their operatives usually plan these things out far in advance. Does this seem to you, if this was the same group, that they planned to do 2 operations within 2 weeks of each other?
Yes, very much so. It's not completely normal to have this kind of targeting in exactly this way, but certainly Al-Qaeda and their affiliated groups do keep us guessing. It's unusual to follow one attack with exactly the same kind of attack, but maybe another attack is planned for the tube, maybe for a bar, maybe for a shopping centre. What we do know is that they'll try and kill as many as possible. But what I would say as well is that what we've seen today is entirely consistent with if homemade explosives were used, if this was the same explosives prepared for the bombs of 2 weeks ago, then it's quite a high likelihood that that explosive will have deteriorated to the point that, again, as one of your contributors just said, that it is deteriorated to the effect that it cannot now explode. And that would account for today's lack of success for the terrorists.
Chris, what I've always been struck by is how strikingly successful investigators have been in finding these people. In all of these sort of terror bombings, you know, you get the feeling sometimes either it's a suicide bombing or it's someone who does it and runs away, that how are we ever going to find them? And yet most of the time it seems that we do.
Dan, look, every time an explosive goes off, it leaves a great deal of evidence behind. The type of material used in the explosive is a trademark. The type of detonator is a trademark, a timer if that's in fact used. Many, many things that investigators get. A bomb goes off, a great deal of destruction, but it always leaves evidence.
But how do you find how do you find that detonator? You say it leaves a mark, it leaves a sort of an imprint effectively. But okay, so you get an imprint. Where does that lead you?
Well, it leads you to the manufacturer. I mean, there's a finite number of manufacturers for the materials used in bombs. Some of them are fairly significant, the type of material used in the explosive itself. But a lot of times other little things have characteristics of a particular maker. Someone that taught Soviet techniques, for example. Someone that learned it in the United States, whether it's used in construction, whether it's used in other bombings around the world. There's a certain number of people train a lot of these bomb makers, and they can trace those characteristics back. Like I said, the FBI has a unit that's very, very successful with that, but other units, including the Brits, have the same sort of technology.
Continuing our live coverage of this new information just coming in, that authorities in Britain believe that the backpacks used in today's bombings were the same as the backpacks used in the bombings of 2 weeks ago, and that certainly could mean, very well may mean, that the same group was behind both of them. But this time, Steve Pomerantz, there's a difference, and that is there are unexploded devices. And when you talk about the evidence that Chris Whitcomb is going through, it's going to leave a lot more of it than if the bomb goes off.
Yeah, that's certainly true, Dan. And you know, we've talked about the forensics, and Chris has talked about that, and he's right. The forensic examination at the beginning of these investigations is critical, but it also plays out against all the intelligence information that both the police and, of course, in case of Britain, MI5 have. And so you match the forensics against all the other information that you have, and pretty soon, in most of these cases, you're right. The success rate in solving these here in the United States and as well as in Great Britain has been very good. The problem is that we don't want to be in a position where we have to solve these. What we want to be is in a position where we have sufficient intelligence to prevent them. That's the real measure of success in these cases.
Charles Schubert, I want you to listen to this piece of sound that I'm going to play from the authorities in England, and I want you to tell me what the language that they're using, meaning they're using specific terms, they're not using the word terrorist, what that can tell us. Let's listen.
No community should be smeared with responsibility for these matters. These are criminal acts, and we are in pursuit of a set of criminals in relation to it.
Was I reading too much into this, Charles, to say that I thought that in the immediate aftermath of today's bombings, that it sounded like they were almost going out of their way to use the word criminal acts as opposed to terror and terrorism?
I don't think you should draw too much from that, other than the political situation which the Chief of Police here in London, and indeed anywhere in the United Kingdom, finds himself. He's not saying there that this isn't the act of terrorism. What he's saying is that he doesn't want to associate these kind of actions with what is widely described as Islamic terrorism or Islamic extremist terrorism. He has a difficult balancing act to play between engaging the public's attention to help him, and especially when you've got escaping bombers as today, the public's help is absolutely critical, between that and labelling entire communities. Not that saying that he is doing that, but his fear is doing that. We have 1.6 million Muslims in the United Kingdom. Almost certainly the intelligence which will eventually lead to the capture of these people at the higher level will come from either them or from foreign intelligence agencies. And I think he's walking a political tightrope when you hear that kind of language.
Chris, you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with it completely. It's a very big issue, Dan, and law enforcement is very sensitive everywhere. You've got to go to the source pool. You've got to go to people that would have exposure to talk of these sorts of things, and that's the community. And remember, we're talking oftentimes about the Arab community, and of course, with the ties to Pakistan. Pakistan is a Central Asian country, so it may be Islamic in its base, but not necessarily Arab. And I think that that's something they don't want to do, is brand the Arab community in Great Britain as the source of these crimes. It is a political issue, but I think they are looking at this and saying, we're going to do a criminal investigation, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and let us do our work.
All right, let me read this just coming into us from our NBC London bureau. Per police sources, they say from the behavior of the two suicide bombers, at least two of them, when they detonated the bombs, according to all eyewitness accounts, they expected to die. In Shepherd's Bush, the bomber was blown onto his back. He came around after a few minutes. He got up looking totally disoriented and surprised to be alive. At the Oval, the bomber with the rucksack ran away. He was tackled by 3 people on the street. The rucksack came off his back, but he got away. The police were able to trace the explosives and conclude they were the same as the explosives from July 7th. Police not sure if today's 4 bombers were ever in physical contact with the other bombers. All right, so Steve Pomerantz, if they were expecting to die, what does that tell us?
Well, I think the obvious conclusion you draw from that is these are fanatical jihadists that are imbued with this same radical fundamentalist ideology that motivates Al-Qaeda and the like. And as hard as we try, again, I agree with the other folks here that you want to be careful in what you say, but that's the conclusion that you have to draw from what you just said, and that's who we're dealing with, and that's just the reality of the situation.
I just remain stunned in an extremely pleased, thrilled way that somehow no one died today, and I just think that is amazing.
Dan, can I throw something in very quickly?
Chris, yeah.
If they've got a body, they've got huge leads. The person, if they have a witness, one of the bombers is much more valuable than the bomb itself. This is a huge lead for the investigators.
All right, Chris Whitcomb, Charles Schubert, Steve Pomerantz is going to stick around. Thanks to everyone. Coming up, starting tomorrow, random searches of backpacks in the New York City subways. Sure seems like a reaction to today. Already civil rights groups crying foul. Why is this any different from airports? Plus, take a look at this tunnel. 360 feet long, concrete floors, wooden supports along the walls. You could live down there. Federal agents watched it go up between the U.S. and Canada. We'll talk to one of the agents who helped shut it down. And later, the prosecutor in charge of the Natalee Holloway case goes on vacation? Vacation? She's got a suspect in jail being held for only a few more weeks. Few clues as to what happened to Natalee. She's taking some time to relax. Your emails, Abrams Report at MSNBC.com. Please include your name, where you're writing from. I respond at the end of the show.
You're getting the whole truth and nothing but on the Abrams Report with Dan Abrams on MSNBC.
Introducing the new Brita AquaView, the only filter with a window that lets you see what it takes out of your tap water. One AquaView filter lasts up to 4 months, eliminating 95% of lead, sediment, and chlorine taste from your tap water, day after day after day. It takes out what you don't want to take in. See the difference? The new Brita AquaView, just $39.99 for cleaner water every day. Brita, just add water.
Gene the guillotine is gonna squeeze your ugly little head till it pops like a cherry tomato. You know why? Why? Because you're ugly. You're so ugly, and if ugliness were bricks, you'd be the Great Wall of China. Whoa. But don't be a little crybaby. Well, the guillotine brings you good news. What's that? I just saved a bunch of money on my car insurance by switching to Geico.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
My new grandson. He should always feel safe in my hands, arthritis pain or not. But these days, it's hard to know where to turn for relief of arthritis pain. So I talked to my doctor, and he recommended Advil. Even after 20 years, nothing has been proven more effective on tough pain. Not Tylenol, not Aleve. And it's gentle on my stomach. I trust Advil.
Advil for arthritis pain. Fast, strong, trusted.
Verizon Broadband, the world's most advanced network, brings your employees, suppliers, and customers together so they can go about their business seamlessly.
Tonight, Keith shows you the incredible new technology that's helping police crack down on violent crimes. Countdown with Keith Olbermann, tonight at 8 on MSNBC. MSNBC, we're excited to say critics think Tucker Carlson is terrific. We'd also like to say they think he's smart, fair, balanced, and really does deserve to be watched, but in 10 seconds, we just don't have it.
Over 10,000 patents. 119 years of automotive innovation. 66 years of safety testing. But only one Mercedes-Benz summer event. Now through August 1st, the one to remember. See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for special lease offers through Mercedes-Benz Credit on select C, E, and S-Class models.
What's the difference between Honda performance on land and on water? Absolutely nothing. The Aquatrax, pure Honda performance.
Stop by Weather's Honda today.
We don't have any plans to stop people walking down the streets. You probably don't have the legal right to do it, but there's no reason to do that, I wouldn't think.
Not people walking down the streets, but today, after the second bombing in London in 2 weeks, New York Mayor Bloomberg said there will be random searches of people getting onto subways.
Every certain number of people will be checked. It won't be done on a, certainly no racial profiling will be allowed. It's against our policies, but it will be a systematized approach to checking bags. Ideally, it will be before you go through the turnstile. You have a right to turn around and leave. But we also reserve the right to do those types of searches if, in fact, someone is already inside the system.
My take, what's the big deal? How is this so different from airports? If our subways get hit with bombs, there'll be more than just random searches. I think it's time for us to start getting used to living with this reality. Joining me now is Lily Coney of the Electronic Privacy Information Center, a public interest group in Washington, D.C. And back with us is Steve Pomerantz, who's a former FBI assistant director. All right, Lily, why is this so different from airports?
Because subways aren't airports. The population that travels through the subway system in New York, the numbers look like 4.5 million people a day, and the numbers that travel through the airport that service the New York area is much smaller than that.
So how does that change whether it's proper or improper to do it?
Well, if you think about what you expect when you enter a metro station, what's routine, what's expected, being singled out for searches on a random basis is not part of the daily commuting routine.
But shouldn't it become part of that? I mean, the point is, when we look at what's happening in London, if this had been in place, it's possible, it's not necessarily the case, but it's possible that something like this might have been thwarted.
I think that's a reach, but what is very important to remember is what we're talking about in this circumstance. Mayor Bloomberg said that it would be temporary. He also said that riders would be given an opportunity to refuse the searches, right, which I think is very important when you look at what, in fact, will be taking place.
So you don't have a problem with this, then?
Well, we have a problem in the sense that it is an opportunity to encroach on the privacy rights of individuals. Now, whether there is, in fact, in place training and protocols that will actually allow people to refuse searches, that's yet to be proven.
All right, well, Steve, look, it doesn't sound to me like even Lily has a huge problem with what they're doing now. I've got no problem with it, and I don't see as a practical matter how it's a whole lot different as opposed to the numbers from airports.
Well, the reason you don't have a problem with it, Dan, is that it is very reasonable. I mean, it's unfortunate that we've come to that, but I think again, given what's happened now twice in a city with very many of the characteristics that New York has, it's just a reasonable thing to do. And I think they have dealt with the issue of numbers. In airports, where there are smaller numbers, everybody is subject to the search. Here, because of the greater numbers, it's going to be more random. So they've dealt with that issue. And unfortunately, again, it seems to me this is under the circumstances on a temporary basis. It seems like a very reasonable thing to do.
Well, you know what they say about the details. It's hard to say at this point whether it will be reasonable or not. We haven't seen exactly what will be taking place on the ground where individuals are being pulled aside and asked to have their bags searched. Will they in fact be allowed to refuse to have their personal effects searched? Will police know where the line is when they are doing these searches? Will they be able to search your iPod? Will they search your notebooks? Or are they just looking in general to see that nothing else is in the bag other than routine items?
Wait till there's a bombing in a New York subway station and we won't be even having this discussion. There'll be a lot more than just this sort of very non-invasive rules that we're talking about here. I think it's bottom line is we got to start expecting it. It's going to be coming, and most people are going to want it. Right.
Well, I think that's hard to say what most people will or will not want. I think it's important to understand that this is a country that is grounded in civil liberties and privacy and individual freedom, that if we plan to have a country where we think and believe that those freedoms are of value, that as we look at new policies, we have to also ensure that those freedoms are not squashed in the rush to address
my concern is that automatically the civil liberties groups came out and started making statements that's going to be encroaching on civil liberties, this and this and that. And, you know, I say to them, first ask yourself, what is the danger, what is the risk? And this one's an easy call for me. I think you're right about that. I got to wrap this up. Lily Coney, thanks so much for coming on the program. Steve Pomerantz, appreciate it. Now to another story about a threat to Homeland Security, this one thwarted by U.S. and Canadian officials who yesterday raided the first illegal tunnel ever discovered on the Canadian border. Take a look at this elaborate tunnel. Stretches more than 100 yards over the border, concrete floor, iron reinforcements, wooden supports, ventilation, and electricity. It links together two buildings, one in British Columbia, the other in Washington State. It took more than a year to build.
That tunnel could be used to smuggle aliens into the U.S. It could be used to smuggle equipment into the U.S. For those who could do harm to the United States.
It was spotted by Canadian border officials back in February. You know what they did? They watched and waited for months as the project came together. They then placed cameras and microphones in the house on the American side and watched 3 guys carry bags full of pot across the border. They raided the tunnel, made 3 arrests yesterday. Joining me now, Special Agent in charge of the Seattle Field Division of the Drug Enforcement Agency, Rodney Benson. His agency supervised this investigation. Sir, thank you for coming on the program. Appreciate it.
How are you, Dan?
I'm doing well. All right, so tell me about this. So you all or the authorities knew since February about this and just bided your time, made sure you knew what they were up to, kept an eye on them, and let them do their business, made sure you knew what was going on?
That's right, Dan. Since February, they've been digging with shovels on the Canadian side. We watched them over a period of months as they continued to dig and construct this tunnel, excavating the dirt out, putting in concrete reinforcement, and ultimately in July they reached the residents on the United States side.
And was this the first time that they actually moved bags, or did you allow them to move smaller items and just waited for the big get?
You know, Dan, we watched them for several weeks. They completed the tunnel. We then began to see them move loads of narcotics. We let some of those loads go through the tunnel. We followed those loads to the distribution cells located in the greater Seattle area, and then we intercepted those. We then, late yesterday, executed arrest and search warrants and closed the tunnel down.
Now, we've been talking about drugs. Were these, quote, drug dealers, or were these people who were paid to build the tunnel and might have used it for whatever reason?
Dan, there's an international criminal drug enterprise that's responsible for the construction of this tunnel. The individuals that were arrested today, that's the first step. We shut this tunnel down. We're now pursuing the leadership, and we're pursuing as well some of the distribution cells located in the United States.
I mean, this has been done before between the Mexican and American borders. I don't think it's ever been done before between the Canadian and American borders. Were you surprised at how elaborate this was?
I was in that tunnel today, Dan, and I will say that I mean, the construction and the effort that went into the construction was very, very significant. You can see the 2 by 6 by 12 pieces of lumber. It was probably about 900 to 1,000 of them used to construct it. As I was in the tunnel today, it was about 4 feet in length and about 4 feet in height. And what we observed them is loads of BC bud marijuana in hockey bags that were dragged through that tunnel, brought into the U.S. residence, and then we subsequently intercepted them.
So as they're building this thing, you guys are seeing them like lug in huge pieces of wood and other items, and I assume that's what initially got people suspicious?
That's correct. That's correct, Dan. You know, we watched them and we collected evidence for some time that resulted in the charges that were filed today here in Seattle.
Agent Benson, congratulations. It's a
Thank
big,
you.
A big get. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Coming up, big developments in Aruba. The prosecutor goes on vacation. This is Natalee Holloway's mother increases a reward for information leading to her whereabouts. And the family hires a private eye. We'll talk to him and to Natalee's mom. Coming up.
The Abrams Report is brought to you by Honda.
It has a legendary reputation for reliability, durability, and quality. It's been named to Car and Driver's 10 Best list 18 times. It was the first gasoline-powered production automobile to be certified as a low-emission vehicle in the U.S. And the best part is, it's used. Proof that how you start out in life is a good indication of how far you'll go. Honda certified used cars. See, it may be used, but it's still a Honda.
You buy ginger ale at Walmart's everyday low prices.
It arrived on a Walmart truck and traveled over 140 miles from a Walmart distribution center, where it was processed by over 1,000 Walmart associates and moved over 10 miles of conveyor, over 230,000 cases that same day. Why send ginger ale through one of the most efficient distribution systems ever conceived? To keep prices low for you. And we're all proud to be a part of it.
With Sprint, people are experiencing BMW in a whole new way. Using wireless kiosks powered by Sprint, customers can build their own all-new 3 Series and ask for a test drive. Because the more new people BMW reaches, the more BMWs wind up on the road. With Sprint, BMW is accessible, interactive, beautiful. Learn more at sprint.com.
Gotta paint the kitchen, gotta paint the hall.
Got the blues about painting? Get Scotch brand blue painter's tape. It comes off clean and leaves professional paint lines.
It's the only tape I use.
Scotch blue painter's tapes from 3M.
Arthritis sufferers have had enough bad news lately. Here's some good news. Aleve is the #1 pharmacist recommended pain reliever for osteoarthritis for the 6th year in a row. Ask your doctor about the good news. Ask your doctor about Aleve.
For new-looking blinds without the cost, call Clean-A-Blind. Our state-of-the-art cleaning system makes cleaning your blinds fast and easy. There are no harmful chemicals used. Clean blinds help improve the air quality in your home or office. How easy is it to have clean blinds? Just call us. We'll come to you, take down the blinds, clean, and then rehang them. That's it. We even repair any kind of blind. If we can't fix it, it can't be fixed. Give us a call. Clean-A-Blind for blinds that shine like new. 770-498-9492.
Hi, I'm Kimmy.
And I'm Darlene, and we are My Jeweler Incorporated. Would you like to turn some of your old jewelry and gold into immediate cash? At My Jeweler Incorporated, we not only sell and repair fine jewelry, we also buy scrap gold, diamonds, fine watches, coin collections, fine silver, and platinum. If you need some short-term cash, use your jewelry for collateral. We make all size loans. Call or stop by today at My Jeweler Incorporated, 1 block north of Cobb Galleria.
Murder Ball. One player's view of the physical and emotional battle to go from severely injured to super competitive. Scarborough Country, tonight at 10 on MSNBC.
All this week, a Hardball special investigation revealing what you don't know about the CIA leak controversy. Hardball, all this week at 7 on MSNBC.
Coming up, developments in Aruba. The chief prosecutor overseeing the Natalee Holloway case decides a good time to take a vacation. This is Natalee's mom offers a reward for her daughter's whereabouts. Live reports coming up after the headlines. We'll talk to the mom as well.
Hello, everyone. I'm Melissa Rayberger. Here's what's happening right now. 2 America West airline pilots who got behind the controls of a passenger jet while drunk were each sentenced to prison today. Pilot Thomas Cloyd received 5 years behind bars. His co-pilot Christopher Hughes got 2. They were stopped on the runway in Miami 3 years ago before their plane took off for Phoenix. They were found to have been drinking up to about 6 hours before departure time. Arabic television is airing a new video of a defiant Saddam Hussein being questioned by an Iraqi judge. He ridicules the Iraqi government and complains that he hasn't had sufficient access to his lawyer. And U.S. Supreme Court nominee John Roberts continued to meet with key senators in advance of his confirmation hearings. A group of moderate senators from both parties predicts there will not be a Democratic filibuster when voting begins. President Bush says he appreciates the reception Roberts has so far received in the Senate. That's it for now. Let's go back to the Abrams report.
Missing Alabama teen Natalee Holloway's family announced today they're increasing the reward for her safe return to $200,000. The reward for information leading to her whereabouts is up to $100,000. All this while the lead prosecutor thinks to herself, this might be a good time for a vacation. Michelle Kaczynski is in Aruba with the latest. Michelle, the prosecutor decided to take a vacation now?
Yeah, apparently this is something that has been planned for some time. She doesn't talk about it. People in her office say that that is the way that it is, but that if something were breaking in this case, that potentially would change. As far as the investigation stands right now, we know that that piece of potential evidence, the only one found so far on the island, the duct tape with the hairs on it, is now at the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia. Today, the FBI tells me that they are assessing it. They say the sample was quite small, and they're deciding which way they are going to go with analyzing it. The other part of that sample was sent to Holland for Dutch authorities to analyze, and they told me that that was due to arrive yesterday, so that already should be in place. Now, again, since not much information is coming out on this island, Natalee's mother, Beth, has come up with a plan of her own. She announced this much larger reward today, $200,000 leading to Natalee's safe return, and then $100,000 leading to information that would take us to her whereabouts. It also comes with an anonymous tip line. Now, today, tourists, many of them spread out around this island. They put up 400 posters announcing that reward. And we also found out police have had a tip line in place for some time. They tell us that they are still getting some tips and information on that. But on this island, it's not customary or procedural for them to also have a reward. So this new tip line that Beth Holloway Twitty created will be in conjunction with her new reward. And she's really hoping that this helps.
Given the sensitive nature of this case, the person who gives the information will remain anonymous. To secure anonymity, the person calling the tip line will receive a code which will also be used in case a reward will be paid out.
And we've seen in our country, many times a reward is what brings people out. The Dutch authorities at run Aruba, that just don't feel that that is something they want to get into. But here, Beth Holloway Twitty and the family of Natalee feel that that could bring some information out. And you mentioned the prosecutor being on vacation. We've talked to her office about that many times. Once the test results come back from the DNA from that hair sample, we are told that they will release whatever information they can, and that is entirely up to them. They'll release it through a spokesperson in the prosecutor's office here. So just because she is not on the island doesn't mean we won't be getting information. But again, the release of whatever information in whatever form it is entirely up to her. Yeah. So we are just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, but I don't think that's particularly encouraging for the investigation if the lead prosecutor is saying, you know what, even though there's this key piece of evidence that's being tested, I'm going to take a vacation. All right, Michelle, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. I'll be talking with Beth Holloway Twitty in a moment, Natalee's mother. But first, it's been 7.5 weeks. Recently, her family hired a private investigator from the U.S. to help in the investigation. He joins me now. T.J. Ward, president of Investigative Consultants, joins me now. T.J., thanks a lot for taking the time to come on the program. Appreciate it. All right. So, look, the Aruban authorities investigating. They've got this piece of tape. They got the hair on it. Have you been able to get any leads that you think that maybe the Aruban authorities haven't been able to get?
Well, at this point, I've been here on the ground for about 24 hours, and we've already tried to deal with the Aruban authorities, so I think it's a dead end for this private investigation is concerned. Our goal here, not only to gather new information, but to start from the beginning, and we need to find out what happened to Natalee before we can find out where she is. Beth Twitty has kept a very, very good timeline that we have spent some time and gone through, and there are a lot of people that have knowledge to this case that were not interviewed by the police, and although we know that the law enforcement agency did not gather information from the beginning of this investigation the way they should have, so it is now time for us to try to take control in a parallel mode and gather information and interview people that may have personal knowledge of this case. We do know and we believe that the parties that are in jail now have involvement in this case, and we have gathered information from interviewed individuals that have personal knowledge of this case, and we plan to go forth and interview and gather information.
What do you base that on, the information about the person in custody, Jorn van der Sloot, having some connection to the case?
Well, we know on several occasions he's told lies. We know that he's had communication with his father. We know he had communication with the other two boys that got released out of jail. And we know the stories are not consistent in what they're talking about. They're not telling the truth. And we believe that the parties that the government has in jail now are the right parties behind bars. It's just a matter of being able to prove and pull information. The reward that's just went out today in Upwood, we believe that there will be individuals come out to have knowledge of that, and I'm sure sure I will be an assistance in the lead with Beth Holloway and of identifying these individuals, whether they're telling the truth or their story's fictitious for money.
Well, I certainly hope so. Let me ask you about the Calpo brothers. These two guys have been released. That means that you can go up to their house, knock on the door, see if they'll talk to you. I know you've only been there 24 hours, but is that part of the plan?
Well, we somewhat have to be very careful, just the same way that the laws in the U.S. If they're represented by counsel, then it wouldn't be proper for us to try to interview them. But there are people that they have talked to that aren't represented, that have knowledge to their conversations that we can identify and talk to and may give us information. Again, I believe the reward is going to bring people out that have personal knowledge of this information, and we're going to take this and go forth with it. And I will turn this information over to the Twitty's family, and they can do what needs to be done with it.
Have the Aruban authorities said to you anything about, you know, welcome or stay away or here are the rules, anything like that?
No, they haven't. When we were here 3 weeks ago with the layered voice analysis, and we attempted to try to let them use this, Ms. Jensen asked in the paper, went public with it, that they needed new technology here in order to help solve this crime. And we brought the layered voice analysis down here. We shared it with the Aruban government, and we shared it with the law enforcement agency. It says great equipment, but we can't risk bringing us in and jeopardizing their case. But we do have information that we were supplied from the media, interviews from some of these individuals directly and indirectly involved, and we've gathered good, pertinent information.
All right. TJ, good luck. We'll be following it. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Coming up, Natalee Holloway's mother joins me with her reaction to the latest developments. What does she think about the prosecutor taking a vacation? Am I overstating this? I don't know. Coming up.
This Walmart opening has made a difference to a lot of people because this was a community that did need jobs.
When you lose your job, you're lost.
Walmart provided 450 jobs.
I think we really changed some lives when we opened this store.
And I'm glad to see that it happened here in Gastonia.
Now that we've built this place from the ground up, it's much closer to our hearts.
It gives us a real good sense of the future. Walmart will be there.
This is the store we needed as much as it needed us.
I'm 47.
When you look 10 years younger, you're proud to admit your age.
I'm 59.
Rock Retinol Correction Deep Wrinkle Night Cream. On average, your skin will appear up to 10 years younger, taking years off crow's feet and years off laugh lines.
I'm 43. Why?
It's proven. Your skin appears up to 10 years younger. Retinol Correction Deep Wrinkle Night Cream. Only from Rock at a drugstore near you.
I hope you girls are getting ready for bed. I'll be up there in a few minutes.
Pay 10 bills in under 3 minutes.
Ready or not, here I come.
Free with unlimited online bill pay. Bank of America. Higher standards.
Coming up, Natalee Holloway's mother increases the reward for Natalee's safe return. She joins me up next.
The HP Blade System server powered by Intel Xeon processors. Consolidation made easy.
Designed to captivate. Designed to illuminate. The luxury sedan designed to outperform. Introducing the all-new M from Infiniti.
With Sprint, people are experiencing BMW in a whole new way. Using wireless kiosks powered by Sprint, customers can build their own all-new 3 Series and ask for a test drive. Because the more new people BMW reaches, the more BMWs wind up on the road. With Sprint, BMW is accessible, interactive, beautiful. Learn more at sprint.com.
On The Situation, today's terror scare in London's about to affect your life in the U.S. O.J. Simpson gets a hero's welcome on Capitol Hill, and a 79-year-old crossing guard canned for not taking a drug test. Willie?
Tucker, I've got the latest nominee for the world's dumbest criminal and nudity at the Tour de France.
Woo! Must-watch TV, 9 p.m. Eastern.
There will be a cash reward in the amount of United States dollars $200,000 for anyone who provides information that leads to the safe return of Natalee. For information given that leads to the whereabouts of Natalee Holloway, will receive a cash amount of United States dollars $100,000 shall be awarded to that person who provides that information.
Well, there you heard it from Beth Holloway Twitty. She's been on the island since right after Natalee went missing, and she joins us now from Aruba. Beth, thanks so much once again for coming back on the program. Let me ask you about this prosecutor going on vacation. Before we talk about the reward, and I want to get into that, but does it trouble you that in the middle of the investigation, right at the point when a piece of duct tape has been found, which might have some connection to the case, the lead prosecutor is going off the island on vacation?
Well, Dan, I had heard that I'm sure there were a couple of reasons why she departed for Holland, but one of them was that she was actually carrying the sample that was discovered from the park ranger over the weekend. As far as the other reasons why she was going, I am not aware of.
If you're comfortable, I'm comfortable. I mean, I need to know that you're comfortable with it, and then I'm going to forget about this.
Well, and I just don't have, I do know that is one of the reasons, but other than that, she'd have to disclose that.
Fair enough. Let's talk about the reward. You announced it today, $200,000 for the safe return, $100,000 for information leading to a whereabouts. Apparently people have been putting up posters all over the island.
Oh, they have. We met some, well, actually a friend of mine that's with me met some tourists and some local citizens at the lobby of the Wyndham, and when they came back in, it was probably 2.5 hours later, and they were just completely drenched. They had, I don't know how many posters they had put up. It was just incredible, and I was just so grateful for them being there and ready to do that.
Do you get the sense that there are still people on the island who don't know about the case, and that as a result that, maybe this will make them aware?
No, absolutely not. I truly think that opening up another facet of this reward, we'd always had the one for safe return in place, but, opening up to have now just for disclosure of her whereabouts, I think that could open up some new possibilities for us. We're so hopeful.
Can't hurt, right?
That's right.
Let me ask you about this new evidence or possible evidence, duct tape, hair, being sent for DNA testing now. You encouraged by that?
Well, I'm glad, what I go back to, I'm just so grateful that the park ranger was observant enough to find a piece of evidence and then turn it over to the authorities, and then it, continue through the proper chain of command. I mean, that's, that to me is a huge sign. And then for it to be, I know it's being taken to Holland now for, the DNA analysis. So I think that's very encouraging to me, and I just hope that, pieces of evidence are continually found.
Are the authorities still keeping you up to date, still keeping you in the loop as much as they can, even though time has been passing? Are they still as attentive as they were at the outset?
Well, Jug and I were, and a couple other family members, we were just speaking today, and, we really feel like that, things could be turning around. We're hoping that, with some, we know that a new a new person is coming in. I think his name is Eric Suma, and then there's another guy, I can't think of his first name, Mr. Trump. We're looking forward to having a fresh set of eyes, look at the investigation, and even possibly going back to the beginning and seeing if we've missed anything. So, I'm hopeful that maybe we're going to cover it really thoroughly.
I was really moved hearing you talk about the letters that you've been receiving from all over the world, and people are sending letters that just say Natalee Holloway's mom, Aruba, and they're getting to you. Tell us about that a little bit.
Well, I think that's incredible. And yesterday I went to get my mail, And it's not only just, it used to come in just a bundle, maybe just with a rubber band around it, but yesterday it was in a grocery sack, the plastic kind, and I was just, it's just incredible the amount of mail that people are sending, and their support is just phenomenal.
Do you plan on staying on the island?
Oh, I'm not, you know, when I speak of leaving, I mean, I'm not leaving Aruba, but, you know, everyone knows that I have a 16-year-old child too, and, you know, there will be a time when I'll have to take a few days. I would have to take a leave from Aruba, but it would be very temporary, and I will be right back on the island.
Oh, Beth Twitty, I can imagine what those letters look like, and I told you this before because I see the letters we get that are directed to you and talk about the respect and the profound admiration that so many of my viewers have for you, which I share as well. Thank you once again for coming back on the program. Good luck.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dan. Thank you.
All right, coming up. The Attorney General of California decides to brighten up his office with some paintings, asks some local lawyers to submit their artwork. Got this. Obviously, art aficionados aren't thrilled, but some state Republicans are downright angry, saying it's anti-American. It's my closing up.
Introducing the new Brita AquaView, the only filter with a window that lets you see what it takes out of your tap water. One AquaView filter lasts up to 4 months, eliminating 95% of lead, sediment, and chlorine taste from your tap water, day after day after day. It takes out what you don't want to take in. See the difference? The new Brita AquaView, just $39.99 for cleaner water every day. Brita, just add water.
She turned around and left the cave, and I'm standing there by the pool of water alone, and it just brought up a whole bunch of issues that...
W tym piórze nie ma atramentu.
What?
I wtedy możemy zacząć dopiero pracować.
Using a broker you can't understand doesn't make much sense either. That's why Edward Jones speaks in the language you can understand. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Ranked highest in investor satisfaction with full-service brokerage firms by J.D. Power and Associates.
Possibilities with shredded cheese, taco chips, sour cream, a salsa dip. Add a spoon, you're good to go. Turn your soup into a taco. Possibilities.
Finally, an SUV that refuses to blend in. The all-new all-wheel drive Saab 97X. Distinctively designed, independently inspired. And now with the Saab employee discount for everyone, you pay what we pay, not a cent more.
In this crazy world, it's nice to know there's someone you can always count on.
I dreamed a RE/MAX agent just saved my life.
Again?
Nobody sells more real estate than RE/MAX.
Spacemakers Closet Interiors, family owned and operated since 1987. We build quality custom closets at a surprisingly affordable price. Our innovative staff can organize any room in your home: closets, home office, pantries, garage, or media center. Spacemakers provides unique accessories, jewelry, cabinets, hampers, ironing boards, and pull-down clothing lifts. Visit one of our 2 showrooms or call today at 770-422-6464 for your free home analysis. Call Spacemakers today, 770-422-6464.
Beyond ordinary powder, slip into something more comfortable. New Gold Bond Ultimate Comfort Powder. Ultimate odor and wetness protection. Ultimate confidence and silky smooth skin. New Gold Bond Ultimate Comfort Powder. Slip into ultimate comfort.
I'm a research scientist, so when I got arthritis, I did some research. I found odor-free capsaicin. Its doctor-recommended ingredient attacks arthritis pain fast. And unlike the leading pain rubs, the longer you use it, the greater the relief. Capsaicin raises your level of relief.
Next, a hardball special investigation revealing what you don't know about the CIA leak controversy. Hardball, next on MSNBC.
Your last chance to see Faith Hill live in concert. So watch MSNBC's Entertainment Hot List for your chance to win a trip to New York and VIP passes to the country music superstars live Today Show performance. It's MSNBC's Entertainment Hot List Rockin' Summer Giveaway. Sunday at noon. Airfare and hotels provided by AA Vacations.
My closing argument, the Attorney General of California is learning an important lesson this week. If you want to invite a group of people to cheer up your office building with some art, ask kindergartners for finger painting, or maybe even ask struggling artists looking for a space to get noticed. But you know what? Don't ask lawyers. You might get something a little controversial, like this. It's called Tanks to Mr. Bush. Depicts a star-spangled map of the U.S. being flushed down a toilet. It's caused quite a stir. Part of an exhibit at the State Department of Justice, California Attorney General Bill Lockyer asked the group, California Lawyers for the Arts, to submit paintings. I mean, really, what did he expect, asking a group of California lawyers for submissions? Well, now some conservative commentators and the state Republican Party are demanding that Lockyer, a Republican, have the painting removed. One conservative blogger has collected over 1,000 signatures calling on Lockyer to remove it. State party spokeswoman says the painting is blatantly offensive to people who think that America does not belong in the toilet and that it certainly shouldn't be displayed in a state building. But Lockyer, as an anti-censorship poster hanging in his office, is refusing. His communication staff says he likes that it makes a point a lot of people disagree with. He's right that it doesn't mean you endorse an artist just because a work is permitted to be shown. But I got to tell you, I'm concerned about the quality of the art. The artist, California attorney Stephen Piercy, says it took him 20 minutes to make it. Shocker. Look, I don't know much about art, but it doesn't look like fine art to me. Looks more like a middle school art project gone bad. What's up with the boots? Once the government gets into the business of acting as art critic, there is no way to draw an appropriate line. How about a painting of President Bush with donkey ears or a pig nose on former President Clinton? Would those have to be removed? And come on, lighten up. Criticize the painter if you want. Don't hire him as your lawyer. But come on, this is an issue for people with too much time on their hands. Coming up, is it possible sex offender John Cooey's roommates really didn't know he'd kidnapped Jessica and was sexually molesting her right in their trailer? Most of you don't buy it. Your emails are coming up.
Oh, I should have used Preparation H.
Now, wherever you go, take the easy way to cleanse, cool, and soothe. New Preparation H Portables, 4 times bigger than Tux pads. New Preparation H Portable Wipes, big relief. To go.
You know you want them! New Honey Bunches of Oats cereal bars!
Banana nut,
oatmeal raisin, and cranberry almond. They've got as much calcium as an 8-ounce glass of milk.
Big chunks of fruit.
It's like Honey Bunches of Oats to go.
It's the cereal bars you'd make if you made cereal. You're gonna love them.
At Hyundai, we believe for all the ways we can help you survive an accident, we should provide just as many to help you avoid one. The all-new 2006 Sonata, the only midsize sedan with electronic stability control and 6 airbags standard. It's a Hyundai like you've never seen before.
Pollen, dust, dander, bacteria, viruses, and mold. The Sharper Image Ionic Breeze, the only air purifier in the world that's earned seals from both the British Allergy Foundation and the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America because it's been proven to reduce airborne allergens. According to AC Nielsen, it's America's most trusted brand of air purifier, #1 in customer satisfaction, and the best value for the money.
Since we've been using the Ionic Breeze, it's absolutely solved our problem. I don't see any dust anymore.
With the Breeze, I feel healthier. I really do. I sleep better, and the air is cleaner.
Since I've been using the Ionic Breeze, I notice immediate relief in my breathing.
I wake up in the morning with so much more energy. I feel clear-headed and energized and healthy and happy.
Don't be confused by noisy competitors. Even if they look the same, you could be throwing your money away if you get tricked into buying a cheap imitation. If it doesn't say Sharper Image, it's not a real Ionic Breeze. With patented Xeneon technology to clean and circulate your air with no fans, no filters, silently. Maintenance is easy. Just wipe off the collection grid and slip it back in.
I've tried every air purifier on the market today, and there's only one that meets everyone's needs, and that's the Ionic Breeze.
Order today and we'll give you a $69 bathroom Ionic Breeze. This powerful compact helps bathrooms smell fresh and clean 24 hours a day. And we'll also give you a $39 car Ionic Breeze for cleaner air wherever you go. Try the Ionic Breeze Quadra for 60 days. And if you don't love it, send it back. But keep the bathroom and the car Ionic Breezes over a $100 value as a free gift. Call now and get a free 5-year warranty. And ask about free shipping.
Call 1-800-517-8226. That's 1-800-517-8226.
Murder Ball. One player's view of the physical and emotional battle to go from severely injured to super competitive. Scarborough Country, tonight at 10 on MSNBC.
I've had my say. Now it's time for rebuttal. Last night we went over some of the disturbing facts revealed in a 852-page report about 9-year-old Jessica Lunsford's alleged abductor and murderer, John Cooey. Some of the people in the house where Cooey said he had held little Jessica for days admitted they knew Cooey was a sex offender. They knew Jessica was missing, but all of them say they didn't know Jessica was being kept there. Burr Robeson from Portland, Oregon. Give me a break. The trailer where Jessica was kept and repeatedly molested was 400 square feet. And yet the state attorney feels the jury wouldn't logically come to the conclusion that the other 3 in that trailer knew what was going on. A better question would be, how could the other 3 not hear what was going on? Paul from Rhode Island. During the time Jessica was in the house, did she have to go to the bathroom? And if so, how did she get to it without the others knowing she was there? Therefore, the others knew she was in the house. Paul Cooey actually claimed that he told her to just use the closet, but no physical evidence was found to support that. President Bush's Supreme Court nominee, John Roberts, Sandra Day O'Connor's replacement. Charlie Waters from Boynton Beach, Florida. As a woman, I urge you to raise your strong voice to reflect my outrage and question why in all good conscience a woman is not being nominated for our Supreme Court. Is the president making the point that there is no woman in our country sufficiently disciplined and intelligent to merit consideration? No, Charlie, I think he's just making the point that there's no quota. Clyde Crockett writes, Justice O'Connor remarking that she liked everything about Judge Roberts except he wasn't a woman indicates her intellectual breadth. The reason she was a swing vote is because she never could get it straight. Okay, Clyde, she was number 3 in her class at Stanford Law, 24 terms on the court, I'm sure. You're right that many are saying if only Justice O'Connor had Clyde's intellect. Your emails, Abrams Report, one word, at msnbc.com. We go through them at the end of the show. Oh, please. Scotland's biggest triathlon figures it's better to be safe than sorry, insuring each athlete for over $1.5 million for the swimming portion of the race. But it isn't exactly insurance against proven swimming hazards. No, this is insurance just in case the Loch Ness Monster attacks. Some fear the splashes and noises from swimming in Loch Ness Lake may disturb old Nessie and cause the monster to act out, even bite the contenders. The official Loch Ness Monster fan club doesn't dispute that Nessie exists, but they told The Guardian everyone knows she's friendly and has never hurt a soul. If they're interested, I'm happy to provide Sasquatch insurance for the running leg. Does it for us.